Hey guys, this is Bruce McGee. Welcome back to In the Pit of Your Stomach. And we are just glad that you're here. We've had a couple of good shows already, and I'm glad to say that we have another one of my good friends back. John Odermatt is here again. And
glad to be back.
Oh yeah, dude. It's been kind of eventful couple of weeks, man. I don't know about you, but I'm back on my fast. I just started my fast about another 45 minutes ago. I was gonna have a nice libation today, but I'm drinking my water today. So
yeah, got my water too. I'm fasting. I started fasting an hour and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you're a little bit ahead of me, so it's nice and like 10 o'clock at night over there. And
yeah.
Here on the real side of the world, over here in the West Coast, it's still 7 o'clock over here.
Yeah, it's got to be different being on the West Coast because you're always. I think it's easier for people on the East Coast to interact with people on the West Coast because like your business day is sort of winding down. You're kind of reach out, but you guys got to if you got to do business with people on the East Coast, you got to wake up early. I mean,
yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, when I get in, I'm already getting phone calls from, wherever I've got my engineers at, and it's just crazy. So I'm doing the catch up, because they've already been at work for 3 hours before I get there. So,
right.
But yeah, so it's interesting. We're all going through this fast together. How you been doing with that? You've been doing good?
Yeah, I mean it's I've played around a little bit with fasting in the past, not to this degree, but it's been great. It's been a lot easier than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. The only time that I wouldn't even say I struggle, but the only time that I kind of want to have a snack or maybe have one more beer or something is just in the evening. That's the only thing for me. How about you?
Yeah, well, that's the biggest time that I'm going to have it because here the weekend's coming up, on Friday night, right after dinner, I'm going to want to have a nice Jack and Coke or a Jim Beam over ice or, a beer after dinner. I'll have to adjust that in to see how that works on the weekend. But I kind of want to keep that fasting window between 14 and 16 hours. So I don't want to go too much past noon because I really don't really eat on the weekend mornings. I mean, sometimes I'm just, doing more work here or I'm doing something else. Either I'm outside working or I'm just trying to be quiet because Tracy likes to sleep in and stuff like that. So usually the weekends aren't too bad. I miss breakfast in the morning. I mean, that's kind of, I'm waiting until, 11 o'clock when I break my fast and do that stuff. So that's a little bit odd, not having my coffee until 11 o'clock, in the morning is cold because I do my slim, about an hour before I break my fast. So that's how I'm
so
you
haven't been drinking coffee in the morning
at all? No, not at all. Because
so
I drink my coffee with sugar. Well, I do it with Truvia and milk. So
gotcha.
I'm not sure if that's cheating or not. So I just don't do it.
Well, I don't know. I think there's different schools of thought on it. Some people say, any coffee throws you out of a fast, but like the guy who did the bulletproof diet, who started that whole thing with putting butter and coconut oil in your coffee, which I've done before.
Yeah.
He says that doesn't. It doesn't technically break your fast because of the amount of fat that's in it. I don't know. I don't understand the science behind that.
But. We had a bunch of guys on my fishing trip that I go on every year, and they were putting butter in their coffee. I'm all like, that's freaking weird. I thought that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. But we put dairy in our coffee all the time. But
I mean, first time you try it, it's a little weird. But if you get like a frother and you froth it up, it's like a cappuccino.
I guess so. I don't know. I guess I'll have to brave it one day and do this. But anybody who doesn't know what's going on with this fasting we're talking about is that a bunch of us in the Plexus group, a couple of groups that we're in, are doing what they call intermittent fasting. And that's not the subject tonight, but since we started off with it, we're doing a fast that has to do with getting you into a ketosis state after about 12 hours after you stop eating. And during that ketosis phase, I guess, is the time when you're actually burning fat instead of burning carbohydrates and glucose and your sugars that are left over in your body. So I'm trying it out. Like I said, I've kind of stalled because I'm not actually doing anything more with my triplex. I haven't started the MetaBurn or anything like that. So this was a perfect time to start that and see how that works out, and see if I can grab that extra, see if I can get a jump start and get that metabolism going. I mean, that's my biggest thing at 60 years old, is that metabolism really, really slows down. So weight loss kind of comes down, and then it kind of plateaus, and then you've got to do something else to get it going again, and then you kind of get down there. So I'm at 218, which is a pound less than I was a month ago. So I mean, I keep kind of going up and down a little bit, but it's kind of water weight because I'm drinking a lot of water. But it's interesting. I'm trying it out. I'm going to try to do it for the 2 weeks that we're doing it for, and we'll see what happens, man. I like I said, I've never done it before. I've never really fasted, so it's something really different that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, the reason why we're here tonight is because me and John are going to talk about network marketing and the terrible word that we used to hear before, which was called multi-level marketing, and just how it reflects with the business of Plexus, because it's no secret now that that's what we are doing. That's what we sell. That's what we represent. And that's the opportunity that we give forward to either the customers or the ambassadors that we have under us. And it's, when I first started out, I told John, I was curious if you guys have been back a couple of shows ago, my testimony. All I was looking for was to find out what the hell he was drinking that was pink. and he threw the lure out there, and he was, doing the old fishing thing. He's a good fisherman, and he finally got me, and he reeled me right in, and lo and behold, here I am, 2.5 months, 3 months later, almost 3 months later, and I'm a silver ambassador trying to get my senior silver going on. And I've got 5 ambassadors under me now, and things are looking good. I mean, I really, really, to tell you the truth, didn't work. But what we really want to talk about is that network marketing and MLM and retail sales and what do they call that? Associate sales. I think that's one of the terms that affiliated sales and stuff like that are all kind of systems that entrepreneurs use to start their own businesses. And a lot of those phrases have bad names attached to them, especially multi-level marketing. I was involved in multi-level marketing way back about almost 30 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. I did a network or a MLM called Niken, and Niken was a company that sold magnets. I found these today. My wife found these today, and she says, "Hey, look what I found." And these are magnets. They're called the Mag Boy. And we used to sell these at a show. We would have a party just like a Tupperware party or any other kind of party you would have. And we would, rub them on our shoulder. And, the whole premise is that they were supposed to balance out the ions or the electrical signals in your muscles and make your muscles feel better and stuff like that. And to tell you the truth, the stuff probably worked. I mean, it was a fad at the time that I was doing it. I was young. At the time we had to buy like a $350 kit or something like that to get in, the bottom line, they gave you a couple of these and a bunch of foot insoles. And
that's $350 back then. So
and that was
compared to today, that would probably be like $1,000 today.
I'm serious. It was something that you really had to think seriously about. And then the compensation system was more of a quota that you had to have a couple of parties a month, and you had to have this and had to have that. My wife, she even did what they called Party Light before, where they sold candles and stuff like that. So we're not indifferent to, or not indifferent, but I mean, we're not experienced at multi-level marketing as per se, where at one time that you had to carry inventory in your garage or inventory in your closet and stuff like that. But after a while, it's just kind of drug on because you only have so many friends, you only have so many families. And if I would have known what I know today about network marketing, because I don't call it multi-level marketing anymore. It still is multi-level marketing, but network marketing is a whole different strategy. I think today, with the advent of the internet and not having to be able to have inventory at your feet, and you get to drop ship it in a lot of cases, probably in all cases, and it's just a totally different animal. And I'm just gonna let you take the floor and tell us your story about what you did before.
Yeah, for sure. So I had an experience with network marketing back in college. Very, very different than my current experience with Plexus. But I'll just paint the two pictures. So the one back in college, at the time, the company was advertised to me, brought to me under the name Quickstar. I forget how the spelling was. It was a weird spelling with an X in there, I think. But the way they advertised it, it made sense at the time. So this was before, you got to imagine, in your mind, think back to before Amazon, before you could just go online and, order whatever you wanted or show up at your house in 2 days. That didn't exist back in, 2002, 2003. Maybe it did, but just with books and stuff like that. So there was an opening there, and I'm a relatively smart guy. So I knew that things were moving in the e-commerce direction, and that was the natural motion of things. So when I was invited by a friend to go look at I forget what they called it, look at a presentation or something, a networking event, something like that, at a hotel, I went and looked at the presentation, and they drew up exactly, what was happening. You would buy things that you would normally buy, like toilet paper and shampoo and all that stuff, and energy drinks. The energy drinks actually were pretty good. They were probably full of crap, though. Thinking back on it now that I know more about health, but they tasted good at least. And you had to, you ordered a certain amount that you had to order, and it was a little bit more complicated. I don't remember the exact details of it than Plexus was in order to make money. But I worked it hard, and I, went out, recruited people, added people. I would drive around to, different colleges in the area where I had friends, and, show them this, they called it showing the plan. I would, show the plan, and people would sign up. I went on some road trips, down south to go to different masterminds, they called it, things like that. So I was doing decently well. I was told I was at the time, but looking back on it, I never made anything. Like, I didn't even make enough to pay for what I was buying. I was just losing money. And I ended up taking off a semester of college from that, which I was lucky enough that you're allowed to do that, kind of withdraw and then go back in the next semester. So it didn't really mess me up too bad. Just took me 5 years to get out of college. Four and a half semesters, semester wise. But so that ended abruptly, really. My family hated it. My sister particularly really was against it, and she really was the breaking point that convinced me to nix it and to drop out from it, which I did. It was a clean break. The only thing that I really regret about it, looking back, is at the time, and I mean, this is common with a lot of network marketing companies. They're big into personal development, which is great. Everyone should be big into personal development no matter what you're doing. You should be trying to better yourself. And I'd bought a lot of personal development books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I don't know what my mom was thinking, but she threw them all away. Like, I can still use that. It's still good stuff. So that was a little bit of a downer. But so that was my story back then, and it was not a good experience.
Great. Hey, we're on Facebook Live and we're on YouTube today. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that share button and that like button. And if you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment or something. We'll try to get to your questions and your comments as we go through the show. The chat box is open in the YouTube room, so come on by and take a look at us. And but my was just about the same. The only regret that I have is that I didn't stick with the personal development type stuff. Right now I'm kind of catching up on this. I had that before, only because we were doing the DJ stuff back then too.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that interaction with the public and selling myself, but I was really never a salesman. And that's what was really kind of the thing that, when you approached me with Plexus and we started talking about Plexus back and forth, I said, you know what, I'm going to take the stuff, and I'll get back to you on the selling stuff. But something clicked, and I don't know what it was. I just knew that after I took that challenge where I started doing the 30 days of videos that I did for the challenge that I did in my other podcast, is that as I started doing that challenge and started getting into it, I started to realize that this stuff was, no kidding. I mean, this stuff was good. I mean, I was doing something good for my body. I'd already started doing something good with my body because I had lost 20 pounds before, just in doing what I was doing, but I had plateaued. And then of course we had some tragedies last year, and things like that, that kind of stopped me from doing stuff. And I kind of gained a little bit more weight back. So you came right on time, and that's what happens in life, man. So some people come into your life right on time, and I kind of believe in all that stuff. So the one thing that I was really happy about is that the products did work. And as I realized that the products was working, I'm going like, okay, I've got my friends and my family are asking me questions, and they're kind of looking at, my videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not kind of going like, I want to try what you tried. They're just going like, hey, this is kind of cool. I've got the same thing, So as I went through that 30 days, by the time I was done with the 30 days, I had already had 4 or 5 prospects, maybe 6 prospects in line. And within the first week after that 30 days, I think I had landed 2 of my first ambassadors, and it was really, really cool. So, and I really didn't do anything. I mean, I just, I'm a sociopath. I love doing this stuff and megalomaniac and doing videos and sharing
I don't think sociopath is the right word.
Well, I mean, I'm a megalomaniac. Let's put it that way. I love to be able to share, and I love to write, and I love to not advertise, but kind of market myself out. I'm 2 different people. I'm one person, and in the pit of my stomach, I'm a totally different person in the Weathered Soul podcast site. But both of my personalities kind of come together, and you can kind of see the difference in between the 2. Mm-hmm. One I'm kind of pointed at, the other one I'm kind of open to. But it was really easy. I mean, seriously, it's not a lot of work. And that's kind of what I like about what I know about network marketing. And it's really, really cool. And I just encourage anybody who's actually watching or is going to watch this podcast to actually sit back and take a minute and think about the opportunities that a network marketing firm can give you, especially with the compensation package like Plexus has. I mean, I got a paycheck today, and I was surprised. It opened my eyes, and I went like, wow. And a lot of people will sometimes look at me and sneer and go like, you're making money off of your friends and your family. I'm like, no, I'm giving them a service. I'm giving them a product that works for them, and hopefully it works for them, because if it doesn't work for them, I'm not going to let them, die with it. I'm just going to let them, we're going to adjust our product, or we're going to let them go. I mean, one of the 2. But the fact is,
at the end of the day, like the way that I look at, if people say you're making money off your friends and your family, but first of all, I mean, let's say this first with Plexus is, signing up. Bruce signed up as an ambassador. I'm an ambassador. There's no like requirement that you have to go out and, recruit people. There's a lot of ambassadors in Plexus who they just sign up just because they want to take the products and they want that discount.
Absolutely.
Which is perfectly fine. That's how I started out, to be perfectly honest. That's how my wife started out too. And we just wanted to take the products.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I forget where I was going with this.
We were going with the thing that we were making money off of our family and friends.
Oh yeah. Talk about that for a second. Yeah. if someone's just going to share with their family and friends, which is great, and say if, like yourself, you started taking the triplex, which is, addressing your gut health, and that helped your acid reflux. So sharing with your family and friends, helping their acid reflux, is that a bad thing? I mean, they're going to try to get help somewhere. They're either going to go to CVS, or they're going to get a pharmaceutical, or someone is going to make money. So if you have a great product that works, why would you not offer it to your friends? Yeah. And that's kind of been the light switch for me, because like my personal journey it's different than Bruce's, and I've been with Plexus and taking these products longer than Bruce, and there's kind of like a cumulative effect to it. But I've lost, in the past 3 years, I've lost 50 pounds and really totally changed my health, a total 180. And at a certain point along the way, I'm like, why am I keeping this to myself? I see Facebook is like it's plastered with stories of people complaining about they can't sleep, they have digestive issues, they have anxiety, they're depressed, all these different issues. And as I started to feel better, and my wife started to feel better, and she suffered with anxiety and postpartum depression, and seeing her turn around, and then we're starting to look into, okay, so this is gut health. What's gut health? How does that work? How does that work? Addressing your gut health, make your anxiety go down and your stress go down. So as you start to learn that stuff, it's pretty hard not to share it. And
it's pretty hard not to deny it. I mean, that's one of the things. So believe me, I keep trying to tell myself that, one of these days it's not going to work. That's kind of what I do, because that's how I got into it. Is I got challenged, by somebody that, that I didn't source my material and stuff like that. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to source this up because I have an opportunity here. I'm going to do it. Either this stuff works or it doesn't work. And you know what? It's worked. It's worked better than anything I've ever had. I've been able to get off of the over-the-counter medications. It's just a wonderful thing. And now that I get to share it, and I'm kind of reaping the rewards of sharing it with my friends, and they're hopefully sharing it with their friends, and that's kind of what we're here to discuss tonight. Is number one, what's the compensation plan? Number two, how do we share it with our friends? And basically, I can say the one thing that I can say is, I share it the way I share it. I mean, I make a video on my way to work every day while I'm in my car. Probably not the safest thing in the world. My insurance company would hate it, but I also
make sure your agent isn't following you on Facebook.
Also, I write opinions, and I write statement pieces for a couple other groups that we're in, and I post them, especially in the Man Ambassador page that me and you have, and I just try to motivate people to go forward. I'm a big proponent of Jason Stapleton. I've said that before. He's another guy besides you that motivates me to do these kind of things. And it's incredible the amount of influence that you have over people when you start talking to them honestly about the problems that they have, as you get to be on their level. And I think that this is the business that you can be on everybody's level. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. And just to kind of talk about, another one of the factors that did kind of pull me in, you're talking about the compensation, you see that first paycheck, and my wife started to share before I did. So I was seeing her paycheck, and that was another thing kind of pulling on my shirt saying, okay, well, that's something there. Written on the board behind me, I have, you can't really read it, diversify your income. Mm-hmm. And it's no secret. Anyone who knows me knows that that's something I've been passionate about for a long time. And, I have the podcast with Lions of Liberty, Felony Friday. I do land investing, land buying and selling, land flipping, some call it, and network marketing with Plexus, and also going to be launching a coffee line.
You're going to be a coffee guy here,
so a lot keeping my hands in a lot of different places, and I don't expect everyone to be like me. It's probably not healthy It's probably not healthy to have your hands in as many things as Bruce and I do, trying to keep all these different balls in the air. But I think it's important to at least have one thing, something to fall back on, because everyone sees what's happening out there right now with no matter what side you're on, and we're not going to make this political, but things are messy right now with COVID and with stimulus, and who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen with companies in the next,
just never know.
3 to 6 to 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It could be as soon as tomorrow. I mean, that's kind of really
yeah.
the thing that kind of got me poked in the butt to do. And I kind of learned this whole residual thing from my wife's father. And before he passed away, he was a venture capitalist here in the Silicon Valley, and he had his hands in. He was a machinist. He liked to do machinists, and so he would go out and he'd invest in all these little machinery companies, machinist houses. And he would make a deal that, he would go in, somebody needs some venture capital, and he would say, okay, I'm going to give you $50,000 here, and you're going to give me 1% of your profits for the, until you're done, until you sell your business or whatever. And he had all these little residuals coming in. So the whole thing about wealth is definitely what they said in the video that you shared with me today with the guy that had was talking about, is this a pyramid scheme? Well, yes, of course it's a pyramid scheme, because everything is a pyramid.
Yeah.
and the one real rich person that was back in, way back in the 1900s was saying, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people than 100% of just what I make.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller, and he, and believe me, it makes sense to do something like that, and that's the way businesses run. So, I mean, let's talk about the compensation package that Plexus, and because I think we're in the top 10 of the compensation packages that thousands of MLM or network marketing firms have right now, and it's very kind of a unique thing that's going on. It's really popular because more people are trying to get into it. I've got a couple of other friends that are doing some other network marketing things that have similar compensation plans, and I think that Plexus is like right along the best. Kind of tell us about that. You're a little bit more familiar with it than I am.
Yeah, and I won't go into the details, but just like a high level. So Texas. I'm combining the founder of Plexus's name, Taro Robinson, with Plexus, Texas. So Plexus was founded by, I can't talk tonight. It's the fasting. Must be the fasting. Plexus was founded by Taro Robinson. And he is a guy that grew up in network marketing. His parents did it. So he's really honest about it. I mean, there's things that happened in network marketing in the industry. There's a reason why it doesn't have the best name, because there were some companies out there that did some things that were bad. And that, like in a lot of industries that happens, but in network marketing, it really drug the industry down. So with Plexus, when he, went out, and I think the first product actually was a breast check kit. And then he went out and he bought Slim. Slim was developed by an endocrinologist, but he bought that product and patented it. And that became like the main Plexus product, Slim, which it still is today. It's evolved a little bit over the years, but it's still there, and it's still awesome. But he wanted to build a network marketing company that was built for the actual network marketers and not just for the people owning the business or those who get in first and make all the money. I remember from my first experience in network marketing, there were people who made money, and you'll see them in you could buy CDs where they give speeches and things like that, or watch videos, stuff like that. But I never actually met anyone who was like fully, doing this full time. And with Plexus, I know several people who do this full time. And it's not like they're way up. I mean, they're on our team, and they're, they're retired. Either, not retired because they're still working, still doing this Plexus business. They have other investments and flipping houses, things like that. Personally, I've never planned to retire, so I can relate to that. But they have a solid income stream where they are not reliant on someone else for a job. They're relying on their own income that they've developed. So the Plexus is different than some network marketing. I'm not an expert in the different compensation plans, but I know some are much more restrictive in that you can only have Bruce, you've signed up 5 ambassadors, right? So in other network marketing companies, there might be a structure where you can only have 2 legs. So you would have had to start with 2 legs, and then stacking them underneath those two legs. And there's different requirements on, you have to have so much revenue flowing through each one in order to get sales, in order to get your commissions off both. Complicated stuff. I think that stuff is sort of going away. That's probably part of the old model that's probably done some damage to the industry.
Right.
Plexus, much more flexible in that, you can add as many people as you want as you call it a level one and on your first level.
Right.
And the people below you can do the same thing. They can go as wide as they want on the first level, on their second level, on any level. There's no restrictions on any of that. Right. The only restriction is you only get paid 7 levels down. Mm-hmm. So it happens, and it can happen. You're not necessarily going to make more. So Bruce could go out and make more money than me. He definitely could. It happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Just because I've signed Bruce up doesn't mean that I can just sit back and go, okay, Bruce, go talk to people. I'm going to sit here and just siphon money off of this. I wouldn't make very much money at all.
Believe me, it's been approached that way before. I've got some naysayers in my group that are just going like, oh yeah, John's just kicking back. He's just doing that,
but there's different. There's restrictions in place that prevent that from happening. Like you have to have a certain amount of ambassadors in order for me to, get any compensation off of the people who Bruce would be recruiting or the business that he would be bringing in. The payment plan itself, I think Plexus pays it's like 12 or 15 different ways, and they're always rolling out different bonuses. For example,
they play very well.
Signing up, so someone this month, adding your first ambassador this month, just to break down what the referral fee that you get. Mm-hmm. So immediately upon signing them up, so buying, for example, we'll say buying the Triplex, buying the Slim and the BioCleanse and the ProBio, which is our gut health combo. And I suggest most people start with it, but there's a lot of different options to go in.
Right.
So that is right now, the cost would be for the person signing up for the ambassador placing the order. The cost would be $89 plus $9.95, which is the annual membership fee, which is marked down from $39.95. So they're basically paying, we'll say, $100. So Bruce on that first ambassador would get, there's an incentive this month, you get extra $25, so $25. Then there's the normal sign up of a level 1, which is another $25. So that's $50. Mm-hmm. Am I doing my math right?
Yeah, you're doing your math right.
It's 20. It's 20.
No, it's 20.
So
excuse me. It's 20.
It's 25 plus 20. And then at the end of next month, when we get our paycheck on residuals, you would get $15 off of that. So $60. That's ridiculous for sharing with one person.
Exactly. And I think the beauty of it is that it's surprising, because it surprised me when I got my paycheck this last week, and I'm just going like, oh wow, I didn't really try to figure it out, but I went and I'm going like, okay, I got $5. I can't tell, but it was nice. And the whole beauty about it is that, we run specials all the time where we give you, your first year back, things like that. There's all kinds of incentives that are going on. The thing that I love about our team, and I think this goes across the whole spectrum of Plexus teams, is that you guys are also generous and you guys share stuff and you guys put out those incentives for us to go to a seminar or go to this one Zoom meeting or something like that. We'll put your name in a hat, if you give us a comment and you'll win this prize. Well, I won this prize. I won this prize from being silver, but I won E's from just going to a seminar. And, I went to a training and I got three samples that I could give out. Plexus, the whole company is very generous. And then with the team that we have, that I know of Amy and Sarah and all the way up the chain there, they've been extremely generous with everything that they got, and they use it, and you have to do that to kind of motivate those people down underneath you to just, go out there and share. You never know what's going to happen, when you never know who's watching you and who's ever been able to go like, okay, I really want to try that, but how do I really do it? And one of the reasons why I really had this tonight is because it's got both me and you on here. So I mean, if you're somebody that's related to me or one of my followers, you want to try this, go ahead and give me a shout. If you're one of John's followers, give John a shout. I mean, we're all here, number one, to make you feel better. Number two, we're in business together, so we want to make some money also. So I mean, there's, like the guy in the video said, there's you can sell the opportunity and you can sell the product, and you can sell both at the same time. So I mean, it's a real beautiful system that we got going on here, and it's unlike anything that I've ever been in, and I just love having my feet wet in anything that I can get my feet wet in. So it works perfectly for me. Does it take a little time? Is this business going to work for everybody? It just depends on how hard that you want to work and how much effort that you want to put into it. I mean, I probably put in, an extra hour, maybe 2 hours a day doing this. I mean, to be honest with you, that's kind of what I do in my writings. But, I've got all kinds of other stuff going on too. I got the other podcast going on. I've got, other things that I'm developing at the same time. So everything takes a little time. So, the balance is time versus money versus, your family and stuff like that. I got a 9-to-5 that I still work on. And like you, I'm never going to retire. I always just want to have my hands in the fire with anything because, basically I could probably retire now because I've, worked, 30 years of my life. I've got a good little nest egg going. But to tell you the truth, my wife would kill me if I stayed home all the time. So I like to find something else to keep myself busy. And these are the perfect opportunities that present themselves, every day. And for somebody to walk away, especially in this times where you just don't know whether you're going to have your job the next day or not, it's a perfect opportunity, I think, for everybody.
Yeah. And one thing that people don't talk about that often, and I really don't talk about it either, I probably should more, but the tax incentives of getting paid on a 1099. I mean, you're getting paid as a business owner, essentially. So you can write off your business expenses. Absolutely. And, people don't think of this, but Plexus every year, they have a convention, and it was supposed to be in Nashville this past year. Year before it was in Vegas. Next year, it'll be in Vegas again, I think in June. And we're going to it. And the ticket cost, which is like it's $100 or something. I forget exactly. We'll just use $100 as an amount, something like that. Your plane flight, obviously, staying in a hotel, there's costs there. That's all tax deductible because you're working. I mean, you're working on your business. You're getting trained on your business, buying things or offering incentives for people on your team. Offering things for for someone to try a new product if they reach a certain incentive, those things are tax deductible. So it's ways to lower your tax burden too. I mean, you are obviously you want to make more money too, but as you start to make more money on a 1099, you're not getting withholding taken out of that.
Right, exactly.
You're going to be paying taxes on it. So the more that you can shield and invest back in your business. I know, you know this, Bruce. That's the better it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I do is that I take this money that I'm getting right now, and mostly, I'm not going out and partying with it. What I'm doing is I'm actually putting it back into this business. I got StreamYard here. I paid for a year of StreamYard. That's part of what's going on with my business. So that's going to be tax deductible as the actual vehicle that I use to be able to bring this out to you guys on a weekly basis. There's audio equipment. There's all kinds of other things that I've got going on that I'm able to write off, not only in just First Note Productions, which is what this is all kind of involved here, But with Plexus in general, I mean, you're a contractor just like you would be for Uber or Lyft or anything else like that. And, to be perfectly honest with you, if you're talking about a pyramid scheme, which is the nasty word, or a multi-level marketing, which is another nasty word, or network marketing, Uber and Lyft are the epitome of what that is. The same with Amazon. Same with all these big companies. They're all pyramids. They all work on a pyramid. Let's just call it that way. We're not going to call it a scheme, because schemes are something when you don't get anything for your investment. And I think the best thing you can do right now is that if you're starting, or if you're thinking about starting something with Plexus, or thinking about starting anything with any business, is that the important thing is that you always invest back into your company, because you're not going to get anything out of your company unless you keep pouring money into it and investing in those people that are just right under you. I mean, my ambassadors are the most important people in my life right now. I want to check in with them every couple of days and make sure that they're doing okay with the product, number two, and keeping that door open in case any of them want this opportunity that I have. And I know that Mary's actually watching this tonight because she liked it, and she said that she was going to watch this. So I know that she's looking at this to kind of make some residual income, and I hope that she decides to do it. And anybody who wants to try this, like I said, get a hold of me, get a hold of John. I mean, we're all about getting you guys well first, but we also want to be able to give you the opportunity to have a business like we're having. And we're not going to get rich overnight, because opening up your own business is a day-by-day thing. You're going to get out of it exactly what you put into it, and like I said, it's pretty easy a day. Your wife, Nicole, when, some of her testimonies that I see that she puts in per day, she's just like, oh, this is the 2 hours I put in a day. But let me tell you, she packs a lot into that 2 hours that she works a day. And it's surprising how, when I watch all these other women that are in the groups and stuff like that, I'm going like, man, they pack a lot into the little time that they do.
Yeah. And some people work more than 2 hours per day, or they, maybe one day they're working 3 or 4 hours and then they take a day off, or take 2-3 days off, but people adjust it to your own schedule. And I mean, you could absolutely do this business, start this business with a full-time job. I mean, myself and Bruce do it. And what's cool about it, because you have a support group surrounding you, and not only the support group from helping you if Bruce has someone who's interested in the business or interested in the products. If they have questions that he's not sure of, he can just put me in a conversation with them, and I'm happy to talk to them too, or Nicole is, or my sister Amy, who is our upline, is as well. But from that aspect too, the products, the gut health products, the skincare, the weight loss line, you have a massive community of people, not even just on our direct team, but Plexus wide, who have had experience with these products, who've taken them for different ailments, who've learned things about them, how to start them, the best way to optimize your health, and not make yourself, have a, maybe a reaction to it at first or something like that. Like I have an ambassador right now who's starting the products out with Crohn's, and I'm going to be honest with you. Crohn's is a serious thing, and there's serious, serious effects with it, health effects. So I was very nervous for him to start. Happy that he was starting, and he's starting with Triplex, but nervous. But I was able to find people that had started Triplex with Crohn's, who not on our team, just other people who take Plexus, who put this together, a recommended dosing chart and explaining why and what they should start first and how much they should take, and just easing into it. And having that community, I think that is so important for a supplement company to do that. I mean, you can go buy supplements at GNC or Amazon or whatever. You're not going to have that, that consultant there, or a lot of consultants, but that you can ping with questions and ask things about, which I think is so valuable. And it's not really something that we talk about, but it's very valuable.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage. I mean, the support that I've gotten from you and the support that I've gotten from just the whole community of people that I don't know that are coming out of woodwork and just, going like, here, Bruce, this is something that you might be able to use on your podcast, or this is something that you might be able to use because I saw you talk about this today. I talked a lot about hydration in the last month. I talked a lot about sugar in the last month, and I'm ready to kind of expand out and start talking about more of the other products that we use in Plexus. But I'm, like I said, I'm not kind of versed in them because I haven't used them yet. What I did use the other day was the Ease cream. And that was really eye-opening. I'm telling you, I got a little bit of arthritis, and I had a little incident the other day, and I got a little bit on my finger and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, within an hour, it was gone. And today it's just totally gone. It's amazing. Awesome. And like I said, it's amazing the support that we have, the groups that we have, just the whole company in general just seems to be all wanting to come together because of one thing. And we want you to, number one, we want you guys to be healthy. Number two, we want you guys to be successful. Number three, and we want to give you the best opportunity possible to be able to make a small business grow for you. And I think that's one of the biggest beauties about Plexus. I'm going to have some other people on this show from other companies, down the line. I've got my goddaughter who works for another company with hair products and stuff like that. And it's really interesting because she has that same feeling with the company that she's going with, because if you get in with a good company that has a company with a support group and real facts with real data and people that just aren't out there because they want to increase their lifestyles. Well, everybody wants to increase, but I mean, they just want to be able to gloat with their lifestyles, and this is what I do, and I just sit around all day and not do anything. That's really not what happens. I mean, like I say, I do put work into this thing because I care about those people that, number one, I've signed up under me. And then, of course, you care because you're checking with me all the time. What can I do for you? If we need something, we need to talk to somebody down on my downline, you're there for me, or Nicole's there for me, Amy's there for me, Sarah's there for me. If I need some information, all I got to do is type it in the little chat box and boom, I've got it, and It's just a beautiful thing. It really is. The one thing that we don't have, or that we don't have, is that we want to get the men back in here, man. I mean, yeah. I think that's another thing that we're gonna hit on probably in a later podcast, a couple weeks down the way, even maybe into the group that we're in. Is that a lot of women? I mean, all the gorgeous women that we have that do Plexus, they've got it together, man. They got these chat groups and these seminars going on all day. And let me tell you, me and John are having this Zoom meeting, or this show right now. There's a dozen shows going on right now, just in Plexus, just in people that are doing launch shows. They're doing share shows. They're doing all kinds of things right now. All you got to do is go to one of our groups and you can find somebody who's doing some kind of video or something. Right. And it's just the beauty of Plexus. It's the beauty of sharing this product. And I really can't say any more about it other than that I would need to get these men involved.
Yeah. And it's an opportunity. And not only, yeah. I think the thing with a lot of men, and I was probably in this group too, and I'm not sure exactly when I changed, but I think men are just a little more stubborn with our health, less likely to go to a doctor if something's wrong. And I probably still am that way. If I have a pain somewhere, I'll give it a week, see how it feels in a week. But probably shouldn't do that. I think women are more likely to, address those types of things. Not all. I mean, it's a broad generalization. You can get in trouble for that in 2020, but I think for the most part, that's how things are. And gut health is for everyone. Just your health in general. Trying to not only extend your life and live a little bit longer life, but just have a higher quality of life. And the science has come so far just in the past few years with gut health, and Plexus is on the leading edge of it. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if you look at the credentials and the medical advisors that they have, and you can just go on the Plexus Facebook page, and every Monday, Monday through Friday, I think it's like around 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern time, something like that. They do just a wellness event. And sometimes it's about a Plexus product. Most of the time it's about how to sleep better, or, how sleep affects your gut health, or hydration, or just these different topics that are everyone should be addressing and looking at things like that to improve their health.
Yeah. Well, John, we're getting up against that time, but I wanted to really thank you for being here and explaining just, what a wonderful opportunity it has. Anybody who's out there that really, really wants an opportunity to start a small business, I would look into network marketing, and I would specifically look into Plexus because, like I said, I'm surprised at what has happened in the short, less than 3 months that I've been in Plexus. And believe me, it's been more of a joy than it's been work. And man, I'm just thankful that, number one, that I met you, John, and number two, that you gave me this opportunity. And I just wish you actually just bounds of success in your coffee business. I read a little bit about it, and I'm excited for you because
Well, I wish you success across the board with everything you're doing. And how cool is it that you're in California, I'm in Pittsburgh? We have a little bit of an age gap, but how cool is it? Like, it's the technology today. We can be in business together. Just meeting on Facebook, and I mean, just like that. That's pretty
exactly
incredible.
how it was, man. It started a couple of months ago, and here we are, man. And we're just hand in hand together, dude. I just did really enjoy it. And like you said, guys, if you're sitting there and you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button and hit that share button. If you're on Facebook, we didn't get too many comments tonight, but if you're on Facebook, give us a thumbs up and some comments underneath there, and we'll get back to you with any kind of questions you got. If you guys want this opportunity, if you guys want some product, contact John, contact me. We'll be more than happy to help you. And we've got a support group that is fantastic that'll help us out along your way. So as I say, John, thank you for being here. And I will be talking to you soon. And this is Bruce the Weathered Soul. And for best results, squeeze from the bottom up. Have a great week and have a blessed one. Take care.
Good night.